Maulid is a sunnah. Maulid is a sunnah, that's established. I'm talking about specification of time now. I will continue with the line of Maulid. I'm talking about the national holiday. I'm talking about the 12th of Rabiul Awwal. I'm not talking about Maulid in general. What are the two possibilities of Maulid? Celebrating the birth or the birthday of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Celebrating the actual birth of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that is a sunnah. We are giving the right for that. So they accuse us of bid'ah for specification of time. They accuse us of bid'ah and they say that this is a reprehensible innovation. Why? Because of this march and the processions and the lights and all of this. We say, what is your dalil for that? When we say the definition of Sahih Hadith, did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam define it like this? Did Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever present these definitions? Do you know the deen better than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? They say no, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not define it. This definition of Sahih, Da'if, all of these things that I mentioned, the definition of Fard, Wajib, I want you to take note of this. This is very important because they have no jawab to this. They have no response, no answer to this at all. I met a person in France long time ago. He became a murtad. And this is my question to these people. If I believe in your aqidah, if I use your premise, your daleel, then how will I respond to this non-Muslim? Listen to this now. This person was a Muslim first, but he was from Ahlul Bid'ah. He became a murtad. He left Islam. Why did he leave Islam? I met him in France and I said, why did you leave Islam? He said, I was a great da'i of Islam. I was a great muballigh of Islam. I used to propagate Islam. I worked hard for Islam. I said, why did you leave Islam? Why did you become a murtad? He said, Islam doesn't make sense to me. There are 5 objections that he raised. One was that he believed that there is no sanad going back to the Prophet ﷺ. He said this ummah will exist, and Rasulullah ﷺ said this ummah will remain till the day of judgment. But I do not have a sanad going back to the Prophet ﷺ. I said to him, what about the sanad of the Qadiris, Naqshbandis, Chishtis, Sarwardis, Shazlis, Rifa'is, Uwaisis, all of these people? What about the sanad of the Ahnaf, the Shawafi? He said, no, these are people of bid'ah. These are people of bid'ah. I don't take deen from them. These are Sufis. I said, this is why you left the deen and you became a murtad. Because these people have a sanad going back to the Prophet ﷺ. But you have been looking at the sanad of the people of bid'ah. The second thing that he raised, he said, all Islam is based on bid'ah. That's why I left Islam. He said, one of the reasons why I left Islam and I became a non-Muslim, why? He said, because to me, the entire Islam, the framework of usul, the taqsim of hadith, everything is an innovation. I said, why? He said, look, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa said, now this guy was a scholarly guy, and he was supporting the Orientalist Mustashrikun. Do you know who the Mustashrikun are? Mustashrikun are those Orientalists who criticize Islam. The problem that we have, brothers, I am a student of Taqabul Adyan. I have to debate with non-Muslims. I travel the world, alhamdulillah, wherever we go, we answer the objections raised by non-Muslims. When we discuss with them, we meet so many people who are Orientalists, Mustashrikun. They study Islam to criticize Islam. Many of them are great scholars of Islam. And how do they criticize Islam? Recently, the tahqiq I have done on my answers to the objections of the atheists. How to refute the atheists. These lectures will be delivered soon, inshallah. Simple methods. We are taking from our classical scholars also, and with modern research, the dalail of how to refute the atheists, those who disbelieve in Allah Jalla wa Ala. And also, the next part, inshallah, will be Orientalists, Mustashrikun. But how do the Mustashrikun, these people who study the sciences of Sharia to criticize Islam, many of them are ulama, how do they criticize Islam? They look at our differences of opinions, our ikhtilafat within the ummah, and they use that against us. Listen to this dalil now. This person said to me, I left Islam. I said, why did you become a non-Muslim? He said, I became a non-Muslim because to me all Islam is an innovation. All Islam is a bid'ah. I said, okay, how is all Islam a bid'ah? He said, the Prophet ﷺ said, kullu bid'atin dalala. Every bid'ah is misguidance. Every innovation is misguidance. He said, look at the books of hadith, the definition of Sahih Hadith. Did the Prophet ﷺ give this definition? Did Rasulullah ﷺ define Sahih? Did Rasulullah ﷺ define Da'if? He said, look, usul al-fiqh, all usul al-fiqh, definition of fard, wajib, haram, kira'ah tahrimiyya, sunnah muakkada, mubah, all of this is a bid'ah. He said, all of this is an innovation. Rasulullah ﷺ did not present these definitions. This is an innovation, and all Islam is based on these innovations. He said the entire religion of Islam is based on innovations. I said to him, do you know, have you studied the maqasid of Sharia, the higher objectives of Islam? Hifzul Deen, protection of religion. Hifzul Nafs, protection of human life. Hifzul Aql, protection of intellect and sanity. Hifzul Mal, protection of property and wealth. Hifzul Nasl, protection of your progeny. These are the maqasid of Sharia, higher objectives of Sharia. According to them, it's necessary for us to preserve the deen. So to preserve the deen, we have to accept all of these things, such as the definition of Sahih Hadith, Da'if Hadith, and Usul al-Fiqh terminology. He said, but the Prophet ﷺ said, Kullu bid'atin dalala. Every bid'ah is misguidance. Today you are saying to me, every bid'ah is misguidance, but if the bid'ah is to preserve the deen, if the innovation is to preserve the deen, it is acceptable. He said, I have been listening to these answers given by the Sufis about Maulidun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, these people have been giving these answers for 13 years of my life of dawah work. Whenever I used to go to the Sufis, whenever I used to say, why do you celebrate the Maulid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the way you celebrate it, they say this is to preserve the honor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, what is the difference between their answer and your answer? The Sufis give the same answer to defend Maulid, and today you are giving the same answer to defend all of Islam, which according to me is a bid'ah, according to him was a bid'ah. He said, today you are presenting the same dalail which the Sufis give to defend Maulid. I said, if you had accepted the dalail of the Sufis, today you wouldn't have been deprived from the name of Islam. The mistake that you made, you were taught that they are people of bid'ah. Their answer was correct. There was nothing wrong with the answer. When the Sufis were saying, we celebrate Maulidun Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to defend the honor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and kullu bid'atin dalala does not incorporate these amal because they do not go against Islam and they accepted in Islam. If you accepted the explanation of the Sufis, today you wouldn't have been deprived of Islam. You became a non-Muslim because you were enemy of Maulid. He became a non-Muslim because he was against Maulid. My question to everyone here now, and I want you to take this question to every innovator, all the people of bid'ah, I want you to take this question to them. I want you to ask them this question. What answer am I supposed to give to these people, these mustashrikun? If I believe that this Maulid is a bid'ah and it's a reprehensible innovation, not the asl of Maulid. Asl of Maulid is sunnah. Holding a gathering of Maulid, that's a sunnah. There is no doubt in that. And me, a student of comparative religion, if I'm promoting deen to non-Muslims, if I give dawah to non-Muslims, if he raises this question to me, what answer am I supposed to give to him? I am left with only two options. Only two options. One option is that I have to accept that Maulid is impermissible. Maulid is a reprehensible innovation. Maulid is a bid'ah. And because I'm saying Maulid is a bid'ah and it's not acceptable, I will also have to accept that everything else in deen, all the sciences of hadith and all the funun and ulum, they are also a bad bid'ah. Why? Because the principle is the same. That's what he said, didn't he? He said to me, I became a non-Muslim because I think all Islam is a bid'ah. That's why he said, I became a non-Muslim because I believe all Islam is a bid'ah. All Islam is a bid'ah. How is it a bid'ah? He said, till today no Muslim scholar has presented a single hadith of the Prophet ﷺ in which Rasulullah ﷺ defines Sahih Hadith, Da'if Hadith. Remember these words. Every army, even common people who are not scholars can memorize this. They will never be able to present the definition of Sahih Hadith from Rasulullah ﷺ. They will never be able to present the definition of fard, wajib. They always say Sahih, present Sahih. This is, Maulid is a bid'ah, give me Sahih. Say, you want me to give you Sahih? You give me Sahih. Give me the definition of Sahih. When they give you the definition of Sahih, مَتَّصَلَ سَنَدُ بِنَقْلِ الْعَدْلِ الدَّابِتِ عَنِ الْعَدْلِ الدَّابِتِ مِنْ غَيْرِ شُذُوذٍ وَلَا إِلَّةٍ. When they will give you that definition, say, are these the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Did the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam give this definition of Sahih Hadith? Do you know the deen better than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Present a name of a single Sahabi who defines Sahih Hadith the way you're defining it. Oh no, this happened in the later period. Why? To preserve the deen. These things, we have to add them. What happened to you kulluna? This is like that, brother, let my relatives come in, whatever suits me, mita mita, koda koda, tu tu. That's what it is. Whatever we like, we'll accept it. we will add it. So what about this definition? Did the Prophet ﷺ define Sahih, Da'if, all of this? No. And the answer they will give, Muqaddamatul wajibi, wajibun akhi. If a wajib is dependent upon something else, then that something else will become wajib. So preserving the deen is wajib. So therefore whatever it is dependent upon, that is also wajib. You know better than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they will never be able to give the definition of Sahih, Da'if, all of this from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They will all accept it that it's a bid'ah. Why do you accept this bid'ah? It is to preserve the deen. Our answer to them, if it is to preserve the deen, then you have to change the definition of bid'ah. You have to change the definition of bid'ah. Remember this. A lot of people have come back to me after my lectures. They said, we went to them, they gave this answer. What is the answer? They say it is to preserve the deen. It is to preserve the deen. So that's sufficient, we have to preserve the deen. I said, if you had some aql, then you would have asked them another question. And today, I'm raising that question today. What is the question? Simple. When they say to you, it is to preserve the deen, say, it won't end here, just to preserve the deen. Now you have to change the definition of your bid'ah. Why? Now you have to say, you said, kullu bid'atin dalalah. Every bid'ah is innovation. Now you have to say, every bid'ah which is not to preserve the deen is misguidance. Every bid'ah which is not to preserve the deen is misguidance. But every bid'ah which is to preserve the deen is accepted. But why do we just stop there? Why can't we ask them the question? When they say that these bid'ahs are acceptable, why? They're acceptable because they are to preserve the deen. Okay, they are to preserve the deen, fine. We accept it, you accept it. But now what happened to you? Kullu bid'atin dalala. You said every innovation, now you have to change the definition. How do they have to change the definition? Every innovation which is not to preserve the deen is misguidance. Meaning every innovation which is to preserve the deen is acceptable. We say now you have added to the kullu, didn't you? You have added to the kullu. Every innovation which is not to preserve the deen, now accept our addition, every innovation which doesn't conflict Islam is accepted. And every innovation which conflicts Islam, opposes Islam, is misguidance. What's the difference? You see?